Peace Envoy. Dr. Elena Voss stood at the heart of the Grand Hall of Concord, the Galactic Council's seat of power. Marble-like pillars of violet crystal spiraled to a ceiling lost in light. Hundreds of alien delegates, scaled, furred, silicon-based, cybernetic, watched from tiered platforms encircling the floor. 1,000 languages murmured in translation, but all fell silent as the human envoy stepped forward. Earth's first diplomatic mission to the stars had taken a century to prepare. Humanity had clawed its way from the edge of climate collapse and endless wars to build a united planet, then turned their eyes outward, not for conquest, but connection. Elena, a diplomat, linguist, and historian, was chosen as their voice. She bowed low, hands open. "I come in peace, as a representative of Earth and the unified Terran Assembly," she began, her voice calm, unwavering. "We offer knowledge, cooperation, and a hand of friendship to our neighbors among the stars." Some delegates nodded, intrigued. Others turned away. High above, in the chamber's central spire, the representatives of the Zaltir Dominion conferred in hushed tones, amphibian-like creatures with jewel-toned eyes and a long memory of galactic dominance. To them, humanity's rise was not a marvel. It was a threat. Elena continued, presenting holographic images of Earth's achievements: sustainable cities, quantum computing, interstellar slip drives powered by clean zero-point energy. "We have learned from our history," she said, "from our wars, our suffering. We come not to rule, but to join." Then came the interruption. A piercing tone echoed across the chamber. Zaltir Preceptor Vorkes rose from his platform, his translator implant projecting his guttural voice. "Humanity's expansion violates Protocol 92 Zeta of the Preservation Accord," he declared. "You arrive uninvited, with armed escort ships hidden behind a diplomatic veil. This council does not recognize Earth's sovereignty beyond its star system." Elena raised her brow. "Our ships are defensive. Standard for first contact. We submitted our approach 3 cycles ago." Vorkes's eyes glinted. "Then you admit to military deceit under the guise of peace." She opened her mouth to respond, but it was too late. Guards in crimson armor, council enforcers, descended. Elena didn't resist. She held her head high as they shackled her hands. "By council law," Vorkes intoned, "you are sentenced to summary execution for violation of galactic order." The hall erupted. Some delegates shouted in protest. Others watched in silence. Back on Earth, billions watched in horror as the broadcast continued, unedited. Elena was dragged to the execution dais, where a pulsing lance of antimatter energy waited. She turned to the camera, her eyes resolute. "To my people, stay strong. Peace was worth the risk." And then she was gone, disintegrated in a flash of white light. The chamber fell silent. On Earth, the silence didn't last. Wrath of a species scorned. The moment Dr. Elena Voss vanished in a burst of searing white light, Earth changed. Across cities, colonies, and orbital habitats, time froze. People stopped mid-step, mouths agape, eyes locked on screens. No one spoke. No one moved. The silence wasn't disbelief. It was gathering thunder. Within the hour, shock gave way to something colder, deeper, anger. In Unity Hall, the governing seat of the unified Terran Assembly, President Aiden Reyes stood before a sea of grim-faced ministers and generals. He hadn't slept since the broadcast. Elena had been a symbol of humanity's better future. Her murder, live and unprovoked, had struck something ancient in the human psyche. "They didn't just kill a diplomat," Reyes said, voice like stone. "They killed our voice. They silenced peace with fire. We will answer." The room erupted, not in panic but in purpose. Reyes gave the order. Project Retribution, once buried beneath layers of treaties and classified archives, was reactivated. Earth had never trusted the galaxy entirely. Not after the first scattered alien signals had warned of species that saw diplomacy as weakness. Behind its friendly exterior, Earth had prepared. In the skies above, hidden shipyards awakened. Automated assembly lines spat out warships like clockwork, stealth frigates, destroyers, and the Titan-class dreadnoughts, each bristling with energy weapons and armor forged from neutron weave alloys. General Nora Talic, Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Force, stood in the command dome of Fleet Spearhead 1, a steel leviathan in orbit over Mars. Her face was a canvas of old scars and new rage. She had once advocated disarmament. No longer. "We send them a message," she said to her officers. "Earth is not prey. Earth is the storm." On Luna, Engineer Kenji Rao oversaw the activation of the Chrono Drive Core, Earth's answer to the Galactic slipspace engines. Unlike any alien system, it folded space with pinpoint precision, allowing Earth's ships to strike faster than light and vanish just as quickly. The first message to the Galactic Council came in a pulse beam transmission, translated into every known language and echoed across every major relay in the galaxy. This was not justice. This was murder. Humanity offered peace. "You answered with blood. We are coming, not to conquer, but to ensure this never happens again." Earth's fleet, codenamed the Spear of Earth, launched 3 days later. Over 100 capital ships, thousands of drones, and 10 million soldiers, tacticians, and AI command clusters surged into deep space. No fanfare, no diplomacy. This wasn't a war for conquest. This was retribution. And in its fury, humanity would shake the stars. Scorch the stars. The Zaltir shipyards orbiting Threxus Prime never stood a chance. One moment, the stars above the industrial world were quiet. The next, they split open with thunder. From a pinprick in the void, Earth's fleet emerged, sleek, angular vessels cloaked in black neutron steel. No warning, no negotiation. Orbital defenses powered up too late. Human warships released their payloads. Rail cannons fired tungsten rods the size of buses at near light speed. They tore through battleships, hangars, and control stations with surgical precision. In 68 seconds, the shipyards were nothing but glowing debris. Humanity's first strike wasn't total war. It was a message. They knew exactly where to hit, and they hit hard enough to hurt, not annihilate. In the council chambers on Carix Prime, panic swept the assembly. Council member races, once dismissive of Earth's military potential, scrambled to regroup. Centuries of infighting had dulled their edge. Earth was united, focused, efficient. Vorkes, preceptor of the Zaltir Dominion, snarled in fury. They dare challenge the authority of this council. But already, half the council world were locking down ports, closing borders, preparing for the unknown. They had seen the footage, Earth's ships vanishing and reappearing across sectors, striking without delay, their weapons burning through shields designed for lesser threats. Above Varela Prime, one of the Council's military command worlds, humanity launched its boldest offensive yet. General Talic watched from the bridge of the Resolute Dawn as Earth's battle group engaged the Council fleet. The enemy outnumbered them 3-1, but Earth's ships moved in perfect coordination. AI-guided torpedoes weaved between countermeasures. EMP drones disabled capital ships before they could fire. Human soldiers, clad in reactive armor and enhanced by exoframes, dropped onto orbital platforms and seized control within minutes. "We don't need to destroy them," Talic reminded her officers. "We just need to break their will." By the time the battle ended, the Council's fleet was in shambles. Earth's forces hadn't lost a single major ship. But Earth's vengeance wasn't blind. They avoided civilian targets. Broadcasts to every system made it clear this wasn't conquest, it was justice. Humanity was demonstrating the price of arrogance, the cost of killing peace. Then came the Judgment Beacon. Launched from the Resolute Dawn, the beacon pulsed a quantum shockwave through the subspace communication lattice. Council fleets across 10 systems were suddenly deaf, unable to coordinate, issue orders, or regroup. Earth's message followed. "We are not invaders. We are not your slaves. We are not your lesser. You killed our envoy. You silenced peace. This ends only when justice is served." In their silence, the galaxy understood. Earth had come not with banners, but with fire. The price of peace. The Galactic Council surrendered 12 days after the fall of Varela Prime. Their fleets were shattered, their communication network disabled, their leadership fractured. The Zaltir Dominion, once the Council's enforcers, now stood isolated and defeated. 3 of their core worlds in ruins, the rest disarmed under orbital blockade. Every attempt to retaliate had failed. Every ambassador Earth sent had been ignored. Now, Earth held the galaxy's attention, with steel, not words. On the Council world of Cellari Vex, surviving delegates gathered under heavy guard. The marble dome of the Grand Assembly Hall bore scorch marks from the uprising of lesser-member species who had long endured Zaltir rule. The old order was crumbling. President Aiden Reyes stood at the center of the chamber, flanked by General Talic and a projection of Earth's AI judiciary, Juno. No guards, no weapons, just a datapad with a simple demand. The Elena Accords, Reyes said, voice even. Sign them, or face extinction. The Accords were not conquest, they were reform. Every council species would retain sovereignty, but the new interstellar assembly would be governed by law, not fear. Assassinations, preemptive executions, and power-based protocols were outlawed. Disputes would be arbitrated by a neutral body, with representatives from all major species, including humanity. Vorkes, bruised and broken from interrogation, growled from his chair. You believe peace can be forged through fire? Reyes met his gaze. No, but sometimes fire clears the rot. One by one, the council members signed. Earth did not stay to occupy. They dismantled weapons on hostile worlds, restored communications, and left behind envoys. Not with fleets, but with truth and warning. Back home, Earth didn't celebrate. They mourned. In Unity Square, under a silver sky, a statue of Dr. Elena Voss was unveiled. It stood 10 meters tall on the moon's surface, visible from Earth at night. She held a scroll in one hand, a dove in the other, and gazed toward the stars. Beneath her feet, etched in steel, she spoke for peace. We answered for her. President Reyes addressed the planet one final time. We did not want war. We prepared for it only because we knew others might not understand peace. Elena believed words could change the galaxy. She was right, but first, we had to make sure the galaxy would listen. And listen they did. From the ashes of arrogance, the galaxy learned humanity was not to be feared for its weapons, but for its will. A will that, once provoked, would move faster, strike harder, and burn brighter than any force they had ever known. Earth returned to peace, but not the same peace. It was now a peace watched by a race that would never be silenced again. Humanity had come of age, and the stars would never forget it.